Welcome to Highland Cycles Gospel of Two Wheels, number 54, where we're talking about trail etiquette. So, trail etiquette. Let's jump into that discussion. I know a lot of you have watched the YouTube video I put up about bicycles, so we'll start with bicycles, right? And actually, I kind of like to group that into bicycles into the non-motorized user groups that we meet on the trail. So let me start with one. There's one word that you really need to remember when it comes to trail etiquette when you run into people really on the trail or just in life, and that's respect. Okay? Have respect for everybody, all other users, all those things. Now, I know there's been a ton of heated debate and there's been conflicts and all these things, and I want to throw all that out the window because we could just go down a terrible rabbit hole complaining about other users and how they take our trails and blah, 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 blah. I get it. I 100% get it. But instead of banging our little fists on the table and stomping around and being jerks about it, and maybe some of those other user groups are being jerks about it, instead of that, let's all of us moto people be the better people. And let's be the happy, good to see ya, awesome day, thank you people out there. That is the key to, it seems like, making people like get along, right? It's just to kill them with kindness. It's really, really hard to be mean to someone who's got a big smile and is being nice to you. So, in the video, the YouTube video, you see my little dude on a 65 give thumbs up. I'm always saying thank you. By the way, I'm not perfect. I've gotten in fights. I've gotten in not fist fights, but arguments over trails and things like that. So, and I've got stories after stories of that stuff. I'm trying to change my ways because I think that is going to be the best way to do, is just to be respectful and kind. With bicycles, the biggest thing to remember about bicycles is that first of all, they don't move that fast in comparison. And honestly, our two-stroke bikes, the four-strokes, they can hear them coming forever. Two-stroke bikes, they can hear you coming, but if there's a lot of trees, a lot of turns, a lot of ups and downs like that, they may not hear you coming until it's close. And if they're coming uphill at you, as you're going downhill, they're wanting to keep their momentum and come up those hills and try not to stop, because if you think it's hard to get going again on a dirt bike, it's really hard to get going again on a mountain bike. So I would recommend, my personal recommendation is, if you see someone coming up a hill, pull over, get out of the way, and just let them, and just let them take their time and come on up. They may still be upset, all those things, but give them a big thumbs up and say, wow, what a great day, thank you, if they get out of your way, tell them thank you. Just kill them with kindness, because I think you'll find a lot of them are actually pretty awesome and great people that are just out having fun too. The ones that are wieners and get mad, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, Dan Balon says, be like Graham Jarvis, say cheers mate, that would be awesome actually. And yell a rider coming through. There we go. Hey, Mark Cerny, how's that shoulder doing, buddy? The other thing that is really important, this goes on for all users. I don't care if you're meeting side-by-sides, other dirt bikes, hikers, horses, whatever. And something I didn't touch on in the YouTube video, but I think is really important, is to know how many people are behind you and give that number on your hand, right? So, if there's 5 people behind you, 5. If there's 6, that's a tough one. You have to take both hands off the thing. If you're in a place where you can do that safely, do it. If not, just give them 5. At least they know there's a bunch, right? But that way, they know to stay out of the way. And if there's none, and this is where I've fallen down and not done a very good job in the past, and I need to be better at, I'm trying to get better at it, is if I'm by myself or I'm the last guy in line, a lot of times I forget to give the 0 signal. That's huge, because I had some friends of mine actually, I met them on Eagle Valley, we were going opposite directions, and I was the only one in the group, and I just head down and kept going, because I was kind of training for a race and I was just pinning it. And after they saw me, they got nervous that maybe there's a group behind me, and they kind of were in this mode of being worried for quite a while after I went by because I didn't give them the 0 sign. So I think that's huge. That's a big, big deal. If you're with a group of people, or if you're by yourself, just 0. Like I said, otherwise, give the sign, let them know how they're doing. Roy Moline says, I've had more positive than negative this year. Was surprised. Only one argument on the trail. Right on. Matthew Christopher Huz going. Big thread. Chris Drake Sr. says, big thread on Rocky Mountain section of Thumper Talk. Somewhat about this right now. We need to stop fighting each other instead and work together. Yes, 100%. Because the reality is, what do they call themselves? The quiet user group? I don't know. There's a bunch of people out there that don't do anything mechanized, right? So the people that want everything to be wilderness, they're coming after all of us. So, but again, I challenge myself and everybody here to, instead of looking at it like what I just said, what they're coming after us, arguably that is what's happening, but instead of looking at it that way, let's maybe, I don't know, reframe that in your mind. However you need to do it so that it's not this us against them. We can all be together, right? Yeah, Bryce Davis, I flash 5 multiple times in big groups for sure. One thing I do is I just slow down and say, I mean, sometimes I don't know how many people are behind me because sometimes it's a giant group, and I slow down like, there's a whole bunch of us coming. And just tell them, right? Or they're like, there's 26 people, like this weekend for the Death March, which may be the number that shows up. Everybody's coming to the Death March. It's going to be legit this year. So, John Capto says, I like to tell unfriendlies, if you're in that big of a hurry, go back to where you came from. Sound familiar? Fair enough. The Quiet Use Coalition, says Bryce Davis, they are the real enemy in his opinion. I agree 100%. And like I said, I want to keep everything positive here, and I get it, but the Quiet Use Coalition is tough. They don't want anybody having any fun, okay? That's my political statement for the day, is that those people are just unhappy people who don't like to see anybody else having any fun because they're so unhappy. It makes them uncomfortable. Sorry. Anyway, that's how I feel about that. So, number of people, that's huge. Right? Like, really is a big deal to give that sign, let people know how many people are coming. Or, like I said, just slow down and, yell over your bike. Try to yell in a nice voice, but say, hey, there's 10 people behind me. Or, like I said, a lot of times I'm like, there's a whole crap load of us coming as we go by. And that gives them at least gives everybody an idea. Dan Malone, yes, absolutely. John Capto, yes, we can all get along. Roy Moline said, I sat and talked with multiple mountain bike groups on the Crest and Canyon Creek. 9 out of 10 are very pro-moto. Some are just angry people, mad, just alive, I guess. That's how I feel. Absolutely. Spread happiness and joy in the world, right? Spread the gospel of 2 wheels, man. Especially with mountain bikes, man. It's all 2-wheel stuff. It's all fun, right? And I would agree with Roy Moline. Honestly, of all my experiences running into mountain bikers and hikers, I'd say 9 out of 10 people have been super awesome because they're just out having fun. So, look at life that way, try to act that way, and I think we can help spread positivity. Chris Drake, Morgan, when you rent your bikes out, do you explain your renters the trail rules and hand signals importance? We need to get dealers and renters on board with educating users. Chris, thank you for mentioning that. Honestly, to be honest, I have not said that a lot. I do, what I do say is, hey, please be respectful. This has got Highland Cycles all over it. So I would appreciate you being respectful. I don't go through the details, and that is a really good thing that I need to do. I need to maybe put that in the rental agreement so that as we're reading through it together, we can discuss that. That's an awesome idea. Dan Malone asks, how about horses? So livestock is a big deal. We can definitely talk a little bit about it here, but I want to tell everybody, super duper stay tuned, because in I think it's going to be 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I don't know. In a number of weeks, I'm going to have 2 guys on the show here with me that both own lots of livestock and ride dirt bikes. Well, one guy doesn't ride dirt bikes, but the other guy rides dirt bikes. The one guy manages a ton of cows actually up in the Rico area and has a really, really good perspective on all of this. So they're going to come on here. I can go over what like I feel about horses and things like that, but like I'm not a horseback rider, so I really don't know how they feel. Bryce Davis says, "Shut bike off for horses." Yeah, 100%. So let's say let's talk about livestock real fast. If you see a horse, especially a horse with a whole bunch of cows or sheep or whatever, the best thing you can do is turn that freaking bike off like immediately and stop. And a lot of people say take your helmet off. So I don't. There's nothing wrong. I can't see any bad thing to that. And probably there's some science behind that because horses don't know what. Anyway, they freak out with things they don't know. So yeah, shutting bikes off. Asking the horseback rider, how do you want us to do this? Like if they're going the same way or whatever, like just having a conversation with them is the best way, because horses are dangerous animals. That's why I don't like them and why I don't ride them, is I think they're way more dangerous than a motorcycle. And what we don't want to do is get someone hurt. And I mean, no one wants to get hurt. No one wants to see someone get hurt. So with livestock, I think that's the best initial thing. Like I said, we're going to have these guys on. It's going to be awesome because they're like, the one dude's a full-on, no mess around cowboy and a really good dude and really, really smart, really articulate, and I think he's going to give us a bunch of information. It's going to be cool. Shannon Hensley, Tyler Fisher, what's happening? Emily Raffaele, Daniel Malone, when I encounter a horse rider, I kill the motor and get away off the trail, for sure. Matt Andrews said horses spook over some weird stuff. Yeah, they do. They really do. Chad Hucko says, I normally ask horseback riders what they prefer me to do. Most of them are so nice and glad you asked. Yeah, totally, Chad. That's an awesome point of view and a great thing to do. I have a quick story because like there's definitely two kinds of horseback riders out there. Super duper quick story. A friend of mine, this guy named Bruce Pollard, who lives here in Montrose, is a motorcycle rider, an airplane mechanic, a pilot, and a horseback rider, and a really, really cool guy. And one time I was going, a bunch of you may have already heard this story, but I think it's great. So I was out in the Adobes by myself, pinning it down some fast trails. I was on the Slaney Bridge Trail, actually, if you know the area. And I'm coming down into this ditch, flying, right? And for me, so not very fast. But coming down this thing, and I look up, and there's this horse butt, like, in the trail, nowhere for me to go. Like, it's down in this ravine. And I cram the brakes on, slide, like, barely don't hit the horse. I mean, barely. And I thought, oh, boy, I'm just waiting for a rodeo to start. And the guy sitting on it starts laughing out loud. He's still facing away from me. And he turns around, and it's my buddy Bruce. And he's just dying laughing. I mean, absolutely coming apart. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Bruce, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no way, man, don't worry about it. Man, I heard you coming. I thought, oh, we are in for trouble. I thought you were going to hit me. Anyway, the long and short of it, his horse never moved an inch. It didn't even move its tail. He had that thing so well trained and so calm, and he was so calm that it was so cool to see. Like that horse, he turned and got out of my way. He said, yeah, fire the bike up. Go ahead. And it was awesome. So there's a lot of different kinds, because I've also had horses turn into a rodeo when I was coming down the Eagle Valley Trail, which I found was a really odd trail for people to be riding up on horses because they know it's a motorized trail and they know there's no way out. And it was a rodeo and people got bucked off. I don't think anybody got hurt, but it was definitely scary. So there's lots of ways that could go. So I would say the lesson to learn is from those two kind of instances is don't take anything for granted. Just assume that the horse is going to freak out. So shut the motor off and be calm. And like I said, like Chad said, ask them what they want to do. So, big group. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video on our YouTube channel of the head-on collision I had when we were riding with a big group. And that was terrifying. So the big group trail etiquette. First of all, I want to say that I know that that person I hit head on could have been anyone, and that wasn't the point of that video. I get that that could have been anyone, and probably I should have been going a little slower on a two-way trail. I get that. The point of the video is it gave me a good opportunity to talk about group rides. So, Matt Andreas grew up on a horse ranch in Fountain. Nice, right on. So I like to, like with a big group, the way we did it, I'll just go quick explain. The way we do it is to keep the group moving and keep people spread out. We, and this is coming down to like with someone who's leading who is kind of the only person who knows where they're going, which was what was going on that day. No one else really knew which way we were going, what turns we were going to make, things like that. So that's why I stayed out in front, because there is another option for this kind of big group thing. So when in that situation, as a leader, I would get to a trail intersection, stop, wait for the guy behind me, make sure that guy behind me sees me and gives me some sort of thumbs up or head nod or some signal that he sees which way I'm going. And that's the important thing. It's not about the person in front of you. It's all about the person behind you in these big groups. So then I would see that, and then I would take off. Then the expectation is that that person waits for the next person to get there, make sure 100% they see which way you're going. They say, yep, okay, nod, thumbs up, whatever, you go. That broke down that day, which led to that crash. Like I said, we all should have been going slower, all those things, but that specific crash could have been avoided had a guy in front of that other dude that I hit waited for him at the intersection. He didn't. So the other thing to do in a big group is to kind of leapfrog leaders. So as the leader gets to a trail intersection, they stop, let everybody go through, and then that next person the next person who goes right behind that leader is now the leader. And that person goes, they get to a trail intersection, they let everybody go through, and they ride sweep. That is an awesome way to go if everybody knows where you're going, or if you don't care where you're going and you're just going to, let's just go explore, and it doesn't really matter which way everybody goes. Another piece of trail etiquette that we all need to pay attention to is staying on the trail. One of the things that gets other user groups super angry with us is when we start braiding trails. We start going around obstacles, going around mud bogs, going around trees, going around rocks, things like that. We are all guilty of this. Me, everybody. And I think it happens a lot more with riders who are new and maybe not as talented. John Capto, please stop parking lot donuts and going fast every weekend. There we go. John Capto, thank you. So I'm gonna, because I like John's, that's a good point and I don't want to forget. Being respectful in the parking lot and like around where everybody is parked, whether it's a lot or where everybody is parked, is huge. Because if there's other user groups pulling up to go do things, and we're out there going, or riding wheelies with no helmets on or whatever, that's horrible for our group, guys. It's terrible. It doesn't make us look good. It may be fun. I get it. I mean, come on. But there are places to do that and places not to do it. In front of an audience is not the best place to do that because that makes everybody mad. So back to stay the trail. If you get to a log, if it's jumpable, try jumping it, right? Because everybody wants to get better at this. Try going over it. Maybe wait till the guys behind you catch up. I mean, if you're by yourself, you don't want to hurt yourself. But wait till people are there to kind of help you and try to go right over it. Stay the trail, go right over the thing. Do your thing. Don't go out around. Sometimes that's not an option, okay? Sometimes there's either too big of a jumble of logs or there's the logs the wrong height off the ground. There's just no way you're going over it, right? And you're not going to lift motorcycles over the huge things. I get it. Totally. 100%. In that case, and you got to go around to get down the trail, just go lightly around. Like, you don't have to go like and burn this trail around it. Like, Just go around and nice and easy. Eventually, hopefully, someone will come cut that trail, or maybe you can come back with your friends with a saw, either a handsaw or a chainsaw, and cut that sucker out of the way. Jeremy Schoening is an awesome ambassador for always carrying a saw. That dude always has a handsaw with him to help cut logs out of the way. That is something I need to do for sure. I need to get one of those. One of the other points I have here in my notes is help out, right? The more we help do work on trails, the better we look, right? And the more clout we have with the land managers, BLM, Forest Service, things like that. So if there's a work party like on September 21st over at Razor Creek, if you're around, if you can, join it. Get in there, help do trail maintenance. It goes a really long way with the land managers, which then goes a really long way to helping preserve our right to ride these trails. If we're the ones working on them, then, Eric, you heard me. If we're the ones working on them, then they're going to be way more likely to lean our way. Great information. You need to log the number of trees you cut and send it to your local group. Super duper great idea. And if you have a phone, take a picture of you guys doing it, count the number of trees, and when you get back, go to your local trail advocacy group. For us, it's West Core. To meet you trail riders over in the Sargent's area, Guns and Goats. Anyway, Covco, the big guys. Go let them know. Send them the pictures. They can use that to help promote motorized use as they go to the land managers. Thank you, John Kepto. I appreciate that. That's basically all the notes I have on trail etiquette. I think, like I said at the beginning, and like I'll say right now, the biggest thing, all you really need to remember is respect. One word, Aretha Franklin said it best, RESPECT. Give people respect, right? We're all people out here. Some of us are not as good as other people. I'm not a great person. I mess up. Everybody messes up. And I think that we got to remember that we're all just here on this planet doing our thing. And if we have respect, that's going to go a long way. So do that. I got a boogie. I hope you guys like that. If you did, share this thing on Facebook. If you're watching later on YouTube, please share this. Guys, remember, if you haven't done it, to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, because I don't have them coming up super regular every week, but we're getting them slowly but surely all up on there. I won't ever have all of them because I don't have all the audio from back in the day. But we do have a podcast, Gospel Two Wheels. Share that thing if you want to listen to these things later while you're commuting, if you have to commute. Sorry about that. Punk Rock Club, thanks for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it. Guys, you mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Spread love, spread respect, spread happiness, joy, spread the gospel of two wheels wherever you go. And make sure, no matter what, this weekend especially for me, go out and ride your dirt bikes!